Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game Leon versus Biko. This game taking place here on Springtime 1.3. Biko spawning as the red undead on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Leon spawning as the purple human on the top left. Game underway in this human versus undead matchup. Looks like Archmage going up against a Death Knight. No big surprises here from the players' classic heroes, classic matchup as the game getting to that 2-minute mark and, well, getting underway. All right, heroes will be coming out. Death Knight picking up a rod of necromancy, making his way out and not bringing any ghouls along. So with no ghouls along, maybe just trying to do a little bit of harassment, or perhaps the acolyte from earlier has taken down enough of the critters on the map to actually clear out some of these creep camps. All right, this creep camp off to the side here, actually a very, very easy creep camp to try and clear up. You can see it right there. Not quite sure why going after the Null Brute first. It has more hit points. It has the same amount of hit points as the Trapper, but doesn't have that medium armor. So the medium armor, you can see how much damage these other skeletal warriors are able to deal it and how quickly it's able to clear things up. Meanwhile, back off to the north here, peasants gonna go ahead and try and set up an expansion. Leon with a fast expansion attempt already underway as the Archmage is sitting at level 2. Death Knight, are we going to see a deny right there? Yeah, deny on that skeletal minion, making sure to not give experience to the opponent as the Footman and Water Elemental could easily end up getting surrounded if not careful. Death Knight going to get another deny in? No, does not. The Footman getting in the final shot there as the Peasants, well, now have to deal with a bunch of skeletal minions trying, well, breathing. Well, I guess skeletal minions don't breathe down their necks because they don't have lungs, but you guys know what I mean. Skeletal minions slashing up those peasants, trying to take them down. Meanwhile, water elementals cleaning up a couple of these skeletal minions who are now trying to hunt for those peasants here. There goes another death coil, and Biko, all he can really do is just try and delay this expansion as much as possible. His army is actually fairly small at this point, mainly consisting of skeletal minions, and if he can get in 1 or 2 more kills on more peasants, that is just going to be that much stronger. That one peasant down to 26 hit points. Death Knight, well, nearly at level 2, and all he was doing was barely any creeping, and instead it took down a handful of peasants, delaying that expansion and making and punishing his opponent as much as he possibly could. Well, with that said, though, that expansion will get up and operational. There is a slight hero level advantage, 2.3 versus the 1, as the Death Knight now teleports off to the north with the help of a beacon crypt fiend. Death Knight, what is his long-term plans here? He does have a new Rod of Necromancy, but without Unholy Aura, he's not moving around that quickly and should not be able to shut down all that much. Death Knight needs more than 25 experience in order to level up here. There's some skeletal minions, and well, how much damage can he get added up here? All right, one peasant about to get taken down. More peasants going to get taken down here, but needing 5 more experience here. Going to try and Death Quell, finish things off. There's level 2 now on that Death Knight, as the Death Knight now getting body blocked by the Footman, making it difficult to escape. All right, are we going to see a surround here? All right, Crypt Fiends, there's an ensnare. There goes a Water Elemental Leon, making sure that that wasn't a gifted bit of experience, as the Footmen are now looking to surround that Death Knight. Death Knight, however, with Unholy Aura, able to shake away from those surrounding Footmen once more, as the Death Knight tech to tier 2 and now start to tier 3 has begun. Coming back around, we are getting up that slaughterhouse. Still do not have the Lich, so it looks as though Biko opted to go from straight tier 1 to straight 3, then set up a slaughterhouse, and then perhaps get a second hero. Lich or Dark Ranger should be inbound momentarily. Potion of Great Invulnerability on that Death Knight now. That's going to make him that much more difficult to finish off, as we see an ensnare go down onto a Crypt Fiend. However, those Crypt Fiends able to, well, rush back a bit of damage. Is going to stay close by enough. The Death Knight does have that Potion of Invulnerability if things go sideways just a bit. Going to try to go after a Water Elemental. Gets the Water Elemental here, as the Footman unsure of who to actually try and attack. The Footman now going after the Crypt Fiends. Crypt Fiends down to 260 hit points. We're going to see no Death Coil. That Crypt Fiend not worth saving, as it was already completely surrounded. knowing that even if it did end up getting the Death Coil, he wouldn't be sticking around for that much longer. Archmage does have Boots of Speed, trying to run down the Death Knight. Death Knight trying to get away, obviously, as the Death Knight now down to 57 hit points. More attacks coming in, down to 35. 1 or 2 more shots are needed, and that Death Knight's Boots of Speed making a very big difference, and the Archmage backs away. All right, Archmage backs away. Is it going to be enough? Death Knight is nearby. There's no auto attack onto the Death Knight there. While the Death Knight was on Blight, he regenerated a fair number of hit points and was able to stay alive. All right, Biko playing on a razor's edge right now, sticking around next to the fight, even though he only has a 99 hit point Death Knight. That Death Knight finally going to be getting some heals from those obsidian statues. Meanwhile, the Archmage, dropping a water elemental, clearing out the remainder, or clearing out this level 6 tracker creep camp, should be able to finish it up. Footmen, I do not think have defend the tracker with 7 armor inner fire, dealing bonus damage, and adding in a Goblin Shredder as well. Pendant of Energy going to get picked up here. All right. You know what? I need to pause something. All right, coming back through. Archmage, Footman, wandering around once more. Death Knight sitting at level 2, about to get to level 3. Lich sitting at level 1, does have the Orb of Corruption already. And Biko seems to be in a good spot. Expansion off to the north, very well defended. Pretty much a forward base at this point. Meanwhile, down to the south side here, Archmage going to continue to clear things up as the Goblin Zeppelin with a handful of footmen and water Archmage going to be dropping on inside here and now putting in the pressure. All right, Acolytes, are they going to try and, well, run away? A couple of those footmen not going to be able to get away in the time or get back into the water elemental in time. A Scroll of Town portal responding extremely quickly, able to stop the harassment before it really begins. Now that a Spirit Tower is going to be there as well, in addition to that Black Citadel, that the damage and the natural defense is going to be, going to be helpful. Second Ziggurat getting summoned, or third Ziggurat being built along that backside here. It is going to cause a bit of traffic if Biko wants to try and defend this location naturally with that, with that Goblin Zeppelin still nearby. All right, Devour Magic could be coming across here, trying to go after these units. Are we going to see a Devour Magic? Footmen do have defend. They are reflecting back a bit of that damage. There's a little bit more Devour Magic, and now could easily go after the Footmen. The Footmen are the ones that would take the majority of that splash damage because they do have heavy armor, and that's going to be a problem there. You should have been going after those Footmen throughout all that time, trying to take them down, and only 1 or 2 Footmen end up getting lost. Instead trying to go after that Archmage, who was really never in danger of getting taken down. Back down to the south here, Biko now looking to clear out some additional creep camps, perhaps set up an expansion of his own. The Lich getting very close to level 3, and we all know how powerful that Death Knight Lich combination is overall. Level 1 level 2 Death Coil, level 2 Frost Nova on the way, as the Lich with a fast attack speed and plus 12 damage is also just a damage machine. Coming back around here, Death Knight looking to put pressure here once more. Does he pick up any useful items? Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Lich getting very close to level 3 here. Should be able to make it. Yep, able to make it to level 3. Now with that level 2 Frost Nova. Mountain King also out on the battlefield, looking to get more and more experience as well. He wants to get to level 2 in a hurry, as that will give him more hit points. And more survivability. Oddly enough, Biko actually clearing out an easy green creep camp, perhaps doesn't want to go after this crazy red creep camp as of yet. Perhaps wants to add an obsidian statue to his army composition before testing those waters. All right, coming back through, Tracker. Well, negative armor, going to be taking some bonus damage now, going after another Tracker. Trying to go after those heavier armor heavy armor units. That's going to get cleaned up, as we see Biko does go for a Pit Lord. So Pit Lord as the 4th hero. Mountain King now amongst here walks inside, says, you know what, I want to do some creeping, and finds himself in the center of the entire undead army. No place a hero really wants to be at level 1. Death Knight coming back around here, maybe able to pick off a trailing footman or two. Are we going to be looking at a Frost Nova? Yes, there goes a Frost Nova there, and now some dead footmen being served up nicely. That Frost Nova finding a cluster of 3 footmen, and well, we are looking at the footmen still trying to retreat back away. That Pit Lord moving around pretty quickly. There goes another unit there. The Lich is just moving and auto-attacking with that Frost Nova slow, being able to pick off 4 supply of footmen. All right, Leon is going to be in some serious trouble as his large composition of footmen is finding themselves turning slowly into the experience bars of the Death Knight, Pit Lord, and Lich. All right, still chasing after all of these units out here on the battlefield. The Pit Lord still diving on in once more, and now finally going to give up the chase, saying, you know what, I have targets that are not going to be running away from me, and if they're not running away from me, well, it's actually easier for me to creep out. Death Knight going to stay at 4. There's the level up on that Pit Lord, who sits at level 2. Double slippers of agility, and what is this? The Lich picking up an additional claws of attack. Not quite sure where the claws of attack should be, on that ranged unit Lich, or perhaps on that Howl of Terror cleaving Pit Lord. Both viable options. Pit Lord continuing to swipe in that frontline position as we see Biko setting up a center expansion. Well, just perhaps having a very nice forward outpost. Giant polar bear going to get in some damage here, getting in some cleanup. He'd rather lose footmen to the creeps than lose footmen to his opponent, which would just constantly or consistently give experience back as well. These knights can deal a lot of damage with those sundering blades, trying to charge in on those targets. Really feel as though the knights, with their fast movement speed, as one of their main reasons for being so strong, simply is countered by the unholy aura of that Death Knight. Very rare to see Death Knight or knights out on the battlefield without level 2 unholy aura, constantly allowing the Crypt Fiends and Abominations and other heroes just chase them down. Damage coming back on through. Knight trying to stay alive. Knight, no Staff of Sanctuary to be found, able to sneak on back here as this fight is continuing to fight their way through. Crypt Fiends are now finding themselves on the receiving end of some devastating blows with those sundering blades. Paladin gets the Scroll of Town Portal. He'll be able to escape out of all of this damage, and a victory there for Leon, being able to head back home with minimal damage while taking down a handful of Crypt Fiends. All right, guard towers. These, I had talked about masonry upgrades in the previous video. These guard towers would actually be at 900 hit points if it was the previous masonry upgrades. Those upgrades often allowed human players to just turtle up, get a lot of guard towers, and be able to just try to win the game economically, choking out their opponent. It caused some very long and boring styles of game, but was one of the ways that humans could actually find a way to gain a victory over their undead rivals. Meanwhile, Flying Machine's going to go ahead and not dive bomb. No bombs available as of yet, but this haunted gold mine will get cleaned up nicely. These knights able to deal significant damage to this fortified armor and perhaps take down this necropolis as well. Meanwhile, Undead Army, 49 over 80 supply, sitting in no upkeep, wanting to put in the pressure here, as interestingly enough, Leon's own knight gonna get served up as experience, as it had no way to join back up with the party. All right, guard towers now putting on pressure. There goes that knight there, Death Knight, simply wandering back as the Pit Lord is now at level 3. Pit Lord, dual slippers of agility, has a fast attack speed, and now going to try and move on in. The destroyers do not have mana, meaning that they are not going to be able to splash their magic damage against this heavy armor guard towers. Also, these guard towers, even though they are not as powerful as they used to be, still deal significant damage and are fairly tanky against the destroyers as well. That extra additional 150 hit points making a big difference. Death Knight now being forced to Scroll of Town Portal back to try and defend, as we're looking at a 75 supply compared to 54 supply army battle. The flying machines with level 1 weapons upgrades and level 3 armor upgrades should be able to blast down these destroyers quickly. Once those destroyers are taken out, nothing is going to really challenge those knights except for perhaps banshees, which could be a big problem. All right, you can see one round of attack right there, and a good chunk of those hit points fell on those destroyers. Flying machines with superior range, 500 range, going up against the destroyers, 450, having to move a little bit closer in order to get that damage going. Does tank Guardian anti-air? Well, huh? I I I don't see any tanks out here on the battlefield yet, so difficult to say whether or not we're going to see those rockets, cluster rockets, be used. All right, more destroyers taking to the skies. Here we are, ready to go. 3 destroyers, 2 obsidian statues as biko finally staying in low upkeep. Staying in low upkeep at 64, respectable 64. Now we are getting up a center expansion as well. Center expansion always causes or has some interesting battles. And remember, if these scout towers that are upgrading to arcane towers are destroyed while upgrading, they actually do give experience. Knights now trying to engage here. There's a death foil there. No orb of fire that I found. Staff of Sanctuary for the save as another knight gets taken down instead. All right, in come the flying machines trying to take down the destroyers. Flying machines really need to take down the destroyers. Not quite sure why they aren't engaging. There you go, finally engaging as Leon lost a couple of seconds of important damage. Frost Nova going down onto the Knights as the Lich is now surrounded as well. It does also have a potion of greater healing and a Death Knight nearby with obsidian statues, so no easy task to try and take down that Lich, especially with Frost Nova on or Frost Armor on top of it. Paladin falls at level 2. Flying machines now going after the destroyer still, but the obsidian statues seem to be able to top it off, and now biko back in no upkeep, but is closing the supply gap rather quickly and gaining more experience still. Mountain King gets saved right there. Are we going to see a Frost Nova onto any of the Knights or anything like that? Not quite yet, as the flying machines needed to really engage against those destroyers and seem to be a bit gun shy in doing so. Paladin gets resurrected, and that may have been, nope, that could have been a dangerous proposition. Instead, he was able to run back all the way again. Pit Lord gonna shut down this center expansion here. Both sides fighting for this positioning and the gold that it provides. Pit Lord slicing and dicing his way through all of these, poor peasants here, as acolytes are also getting taken down as well. All right, there goes the Death Coil, finishing off a trailing knight. Knights are now fully upgraded 3-3, going up against those 2-0 destroyers. That being one of the major differences, the upgrades on the human army, allowing the battle to go as well for Leon as it did. With that said, though, biko playing a very strong game, but stuck in that very uncomfortable 51/70 supply, paying taxes, paying taxes, even though he barely earns that, or his army size is just one size over the limit. All right, continuing to fight its way back through. We're looking at, flying machines continually falling as well. Hit Lord now looking to retreat back. Flying machines going to try and engage, and here we are falling back again. 46 supply compared to 63 experience. However, a very big advantage for undead. Meanwhile, there are siege engines out here onto the battlefield. They are engaging against the back. Goblin Zeppelin picking up and then dropping them down here, clearing up some of these ziggurats. We're looking at 48/50, and now could perhaps try and go after. Oh, are we going to see the Goblin Zeppelin taken down? Yes, we do. All of these trees were cleared out earlier, and because they were cleared out, I think perhaps Leon thought that there was still a tree line here for him to fly over. Instead, completely exposed to the 2 spirit towers and their fast piercing damage. Leon still holding that center expansion, but does not have any peasants here. Didn't even bother to train any new ones, just bringing some over from a different base, as the main base is now down to 100 gold. So we're going to be running out of gold here in just a moment. Undead, well, they have heroes, they have obsidian statues. Is that all you really need, as the flying machines greatly reduced damage because of that Howl of Terror? That Pit Lord getting off a Howl of Terror on multiple units, I think north of 15 units, so many just circles spinning around that entire army of Leon, as the flying machines having difficulties taking down that destroyer down to 200 hit points. Could get a death coil here in just a moment. Needs a death coil. Death Knight, is he going to save that one destroyer? That is the question. Or is he going to get taken down from, wow, 300 hit points down to 0, even with the flying machine's negative damage debuff from that Howl of Terror. 33 supply compared to 49. Things not looking good for biko at all. Is he going to be able to break free? No, he is not. That Lich ends up getting taken down by a blast of holy light and explodes into nothing. All right, the battle could have gone a completely different way. Meanwhile, we are looking at the Lich back out here onto the battlefield, going to try and engage. One obsidian statue now taken down. Goblin Shredder still joining in on the battle here. No Frost Nova anywhere to be seen. Plus 24 damage. The auto attack still very strong here. Death Knight should be looking perhaps at a death coil. Paladin, how is he still alive? Has a Howl of Terror and still trying to stick around in this battle here. Continuing the fight. Pit Lord does not use or is trying to take down that Paladin, but a potion of lesser invulnerability used instead. Death Knight has plenty of mana, should be using a death coil on that Pit Lord, getting him back up to full, as we see a Stormbolt go down on that Death Knight. Death Knight now getting Frost Armor to try and get a little bit of additional protection. Meanwhile, the main gold mine inside the undead base has stopped mining. Death Knight nearly level 6, Lich halfway to level 6, and Pit Lord halfway to level 5. But the problem now is no more gold available for biko, as we're seeing long distance mining and then now finally depositing gold at this town hall. Army size 38 to 35. That greatly favors biko, as biko does have significant hero level advantages. Level 3 Frost Nova and level 3 Death Coil, and can really burst down and cause problems. However, the longer the game goes, the better it will be for Leon, as he'll be able to bounce back, as he still has 2 minutes of mining at his natural expansion. All right, Frost Nova going down here. Howl of Terror, Death Coil trying to keep things alive in this battle. Lich continuing to, well, machine gun out as many Frost Novas as he possibly can. Paladin already using that Divine Shield at the start of the battle. Meanwhile, the flying machines do have that siege damage to attack onto the ground here, as the Death Knight gets up to level 6 and maybe going for, yes, Animate Dead. All right, Death Knight has Animate Dead here. Could he take down enough knights to actually have Animate Dead turn things around? One Acolyte actually causing a little bit of blocking problems, as the Death Knight does get up to level 6. We see Death Coils being used pretty rapidly. Scroll of Town Portal to try and retreat. And that was a big win for biko there, making sure to stop the mining at this expansion. The Animate Dead was used. We see a bunch of peasants joining in on the battle here. They only do 5 to 6 damage, but will be taking down this town hall. All right. Mine off to the north. Only about a minute of mining left. 48 supply compared to 34. Death Knight, Death Knight, Lich, and a Pit Lord working together here. Pit Lord nearing level 5. Death Knight picking up, well, another potion of lesser invulnerability, also having that ring of regeneration, as he needs ways to find and heal himself. Biko has everything he really needs to win this, to win a fight or two. And once that Lich gets higher up, well, unsummoning some more buildings, unsummoning more buildings, perhaps going to be picking up some additional items from his own shop here, and will be ready to go. All right, ghouls are about to make a run on out. There are plenty of knights out here onto the battlefield, but those knights are fully upgraded at 3-3. Flying Machine's going to try and engage here. Nothing really nothing really for them to attack in the air. Going to be taking those units down on the ground. Obsidian Statue needs to be brought on over, and here we are ready to go here in just a moment. All right, are we going to see a little bit of a last stand here? 37 supply compared to 52. Leon having plenty of knights and having flying machines as well if the destroyers do take to the skies. Death Knight now looking to, well, back around here as we are getting into another expansion, and Leon doing long distance mining from that center spot. All right, here we go. There's a big Howl of Terror to start the battle. Stormbolt and Holy Light onto the Death Knight. Death Knight now, well, retreating back as we can see the Acolytes are fighting in that frontline spot. Thunderclap slowing things down, but it's only a level 1 Thunderclap as we're going to be looking at some ghouls getting cleaned up here as well. 33 supply compared to 52. Water Elementals unchallenged with no destroyers nearby. There goes another Thunderclap. Mountain King still running around in circles as the Mountain King gets a Holy Light in time to survive. Stormbolt onto not quite sure. I think it was Potion of Lesser Invulnerability used in time to shake off that Stormbolt. There's another Thunderclap there as all the Acolytes are running away in slow motion. More damage adding on through. Pit Lord able to get a Death Coil to stay alive for a split second or a little while longer, but the Orb of Fire from the Archmage really offsetting the amount of heals that the Death Knight could be dealing. Knight still charging back the other way. Not quite sure why the Archmage is so far back as a Potion of Invulnerability now being used there. Death Knight coming back through. Mountain King could get taken down. Mountain King gets taken down, and now suddenly the Lich at level 6 can cause some serious problems. There goes a Frost Nova onto the Archmage. Archmage gonna try and battle it up against the Lich here. The Lich does have a better attack, but an army of the Knights still coming back through. What's gonna go down here? That Archmage down to 74 hit points, and the Lich ends up getting surrounded. Level 6 Lich falls at the hands, well, doesn't fall. Biko leaving the game knowing what's going to happen. Knights surround the Lich, and even with Frost Armor, can't stay alive. All right. Beautiful, beautiful amount of back and forth play. Mountain King getting finished off, but do remember the Paladin is still in play. Well, where is that Paladin? Paladin should be nearby and should be able to fully heal up that Archmage. Did the Paladin get sent home? Yep. Paladin with Staff of Sanctuary back home, but should be joining in the battle soon. So, yes, Leon basically outlasting his opponent with that expansion in order to get the win. Final scores. Here we are, Leon with that resource score showing a dramatic difference overall. Also consistently having more units, an 81 largest army in order to pull off the victory, even though he was behind on experience. We saw a level 6 Death Knight and a level 6 Lich. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.